Okay, so today I will show you how I used segment display designs from YouTuber named Posy and turned them into real displays. And not just any displays, but the displays that are thin, flexible and act like the e-ink, meaning that you can disconnect them from the power and they will still display the content for a few minutes. And it all started about 9 months ago when I recorded a video titled Displays from the Future, where I used the displays from the company named Ynvisible, the Ynvisible with Y, together with the Arduino. And for some unknown reason, this video got quite a bit of traction, so one day I received an email from the Ynvisible company asking if I want to create my own display. And since I love displays, you probably also know my answer to this question. Yes, it was definitely yes. With this display technology, you can only have segmented displays, not pixel ones, and since I still had in mind the video from YouTuber Posy, I decided to use his designs as a starting point. You can actually download all his designs in the form of the SVG file. From my last video, I already knew that you can download the segment display kit in the form of the PDF file made in Adobe Illustrator, so that was my tool of choice. But before recreating those designs from Posy, there are some guidelines and technical restrictions that we need to follow. Probably the most important one is the spacing between individual segments, which has to be at least 1.5 mm. And there is one simple trick in Illustrator to achieve the spacing all the time. I can draw the line and set the outline, the stroke thickness to be 1.5 mm, and just for the reference, on the left side is a rectangle with the same width. If I scale it, they look the same, but once I uncheck this checkbox, Scale Strokes and Effects, I can now scale the line object to any size and it will still keep the 1.5 mm stroke. The first design that I want to recreate is named Seamless, and I like how the middle part is skewed in a way that it nicely lines up with the gaps on the left side and on the right side. I will start by drawing the rectangle and then setting the outline to be much bolder, for example 9 points, and applying the rounded corners effect of 2 mm. Then I will draw the line in the middle and rotate it using the transform effect. That way I can change the rotation to the exact value later on if I need to. Then I draw the line and set the thickness to the value of 1.5 mm and align it on the left side, copy it multiple times and move it over the main shape. I will also draw one line for the corner and 2 lines inside to have all the needed segments. Since those are all lines and not gaps, I can move all of them freely. And to give it a little bit more dramatic effect, I can skew the digits. The shear angle of 6 degrees seems to be about right. I like this design, so I just need to flatten this into individual elements, into individual segments. The function expand appearance will flatten all the used effects, all those transformations, and the expand function will convert all the strokes to fills. That's needed for the next step, because I'm using the Pathfinder tool to unite all the dark blue shapes, and then subtracting all the light blue shapes, those that were temporarily representing the gaps. If you count the segments, we only have 7, which is quite common number for segmented digits. And while we can have as many segments as we want, this segmented display kit comes with all kinds of driver boards, and they all have 16 pins, meaning they can drive up to 15 segments plus 1 common electrode. So I also decided to only use up to 15 segments for each display. So 15 segments means that for 7 segment designs, we can use 2 digits and still have 1 segment left. For this design, I have used this extra segment to show my logo, and for this design, I decided to show an extra digit, the digit number 1. And while it looks like it's made from 3 segments, they are all connected to the same pin. This X-shaped design is quite unusual and it has exactly 15 segments, so it was a perfect fit. The starting shape is again a rectangle with rounded corners and a vertical line in the middle. I want the spacing between the line and the rectangle to be exactly 1.5 mm, and the simple way to do it is to apply another stroke to the rectangle and offset it by that amount. When I change the color to white, it will nicely hide the parts of the vertical line that should be not visible. Next is a 45-degree angle, and here comes a nice trick. If I apply the same secondary stroke and set the blending mode to screen, it will start forming those individual segments while keeping the whole digit dynamic. I just need to copy that angled line one more time and flip it. Then copy the original rounded rectangle to the top, but this time make the secondary stroke much bigger to cover all the unwanted pieces. Set the stroke color to white and we now have a fully dynamic digit to play with and tweak. But I don't think that it needs any additional tweaking, it just looks nice. Same as the last time, we need to convert this design into individual segments, and the first 2 steps are the same, expanding the appearance and converting the strokes to fills. But using the Pathfinder tool will take some time because there are so many overlapping shapes. A better option is to use the Shape Builder tool, set a different color and select the shapes that we want to keep. And after a little bit of clicking, we should get our 15 individual segments, which means that another design is finished, and here is a preview with final colors. The final design is 3x5 matrix display, again using all 15 segments, and it was of course the simplest one to create. Still, you can use it to show pretty much all the digits and characters. And with all those designs completed, I did send them to Ynvisible and then it was time to wait. The process of creating those displays is in many ways very similar to silkscreen printing, that kind of printing technology that is used, for example, for printing on the t-shirts. However, instead of printing with standard colors, here a special kind of ink or substrate is printed on the transparent sheet. And not just one layer, but multiple layers. We need all the electrical connections, the actual ink that changes the color, and some overlay. And after all the layers are printed, the sheets undergo a special heat treatment, and I hope I don't say it wrong, but I think that this process polarizes the ink, the polymer, so it can work properly. As you can see, it also flattens the displays. Then another transparent sheet of plastic is laminated on the backside of the display to protect the ink, with small holes to access the connectors. The very last step is cutting those displays to shape, but unfortunately I don't have this process recorded. And with all those displays manufactured, it's time to control those with Arduino. To light up the segment, you apply positive voltage around 1.5 volts, and to turn it off, you apply negative voltage around minus 1.5 volts. And that's a problem because Arduino boards oftentimes work with either 5 volt or 3.3 volt logic levels, which is way too much. And while you can use a higher voltage, it will shorten the lifespan of the display. Thankfully, there is a solution. The new Arduino UNO R4, this is the R4 Minima board, has what's called the DAC, the digital to analog converter, allowing to set the voltage on pin A0 between 0 to 5 volts. If you set the pin A0, the common electrode on the display, to the voltage of 3.5 volts, and another pin to high state, meaning 5 volts, there will be 1.5 volts in between, and that will turn on the segment. If you set the pin A0 to be only 1.5 volts and another pin to low state, meaning 0 volts, the voltage in between will be minus 1.5 volts, and that will turn off the segment. Expanding the sketch to set all the segments on and off should be simple. We just need to define to which Arduino pins we connect the display, and then use a lot of jumper wires. We are still missing one case, and that's when the segment is off and we want to keep it off, or when we simply don't want to interact with the display. In this case, the datasheet says that we should set the pin to the high Z state, and that means that the pin should not be the high state and it should not be the low state. On the Arduino board, you can simply do that by setting the pin to input. That way the Arduino will not control the state of the pin. With that, we know how to set all the 4 possible scenarios in Arduino Code, and we can control the individual segments, but we don't know what's the relationship between those Arduino pins and those segments yet. And I can easily see all the connections between the individual pins and the segments on the back of the display and change the values in the code, but I wanted a more visual way for setting those segments. And it might be a little bit surprising, but I ended up using Microsoft Excel. In here I have imported the individual segments as shapes and added a simple macro for each shape. After clicking the segments, they will toggle between the on and off state, meaning that they will change the color of the shape and also change the cell value between 0 and 1. Then I can use those values and put those inside an array in Arduino Code and maybe have some small demo sequence. And after a little bit of clicking, copying and pasting, I have a few demo sequences for each individual display, so let's play those while I keep talking. Since you have watched the video up until now, I have some good news for you. If you have a project that might need any of those displays, I would be happy to send it to you, for free of course, if you can pay for shipping. I have more displays that I need, and if it will help you with your project, that would be great. If that's the case, please send me an email, you can find it on the About page of this channel. If you want to take a closer look at anything from this video, all the source files are on GitHub, the link is in the description. If you like this video and want to support my channel, you can be the first one to buy me a coffee, the link is below as well, and I promise I will buy more displays and record more videos. If you have any comments or questions, please put those down in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Oh, actually there is one more thing. I need to send those displays to Posy to see what he thinks. And that's it. Bye.